Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show on June 1st day. Appreciate you all for tapping in as always. WNBA has quite a few games on the board for today. I think it's four games. Yeah, 4 games on the board for today. If you haven't made a play, if you haven't looked at the card, if you haven't made a play, we're in the same boat. I haven't made a play either. I want to talk out a couple of the games, see if we can find a couple winners, maybe from the chat, see if we can all align on a couple things. A couple of these lines have moved already, but I was going through the card yesterday. I was like, this all kind of feel like blah to me. So I didn't make any plays. So if you haven't made any plays, we're in the same boat. Hopefully, like I said, we can find some winners, man. Quick recap of yesterday. No plays officially for me yesterday. So interesting, stupid story for me yesterday. I recorded the NBA video yesterday. Shout out to the Pacers for getting the job done. Their team total over was a winner in the NBA. And then also played on the Pacers first quarter, which ended up being a push. So made a little bit of money in the NBA last night. I did the videos at the same time yesterday morning, like super early, which is why I didn't do a live show yesterday. But I did the videos at the same time yesterday morning, and I scheduled the WNBA for today instead of yesterday, the game between the Dallas Wings and the Chicago Sky. So I didn't know. I had a lot of things going on yesterday. By the time I realized that it didn't get posted, it was like 3 hours before game time. So I did end up posting the video yesterday. It was everything that we talked about, everything I talked about on that video. One, I didn't make any of the bets. I think except for Arike Gumbawale to go over his assist prop. But yeah, I mean, that was a very profitable stream yesterday. I didn't take any of those bets. Hopefully you guys made some money. But I liked, Chicago plus the points yesterday against the Wings. They won the game pretty easily. Dejanay over her points, Maddie Siegrist over her points. It was just, I should have probably made some of those bets, but neither here nor there, man. Hopefully you guys made some money. Let's go through the comments real quick, see who's with us, and then we'll jump into it for today. Gina says she went 0-1. Good morning, Gina says good morning. 0-1 in the W last night. Lost on Chicago Dollars under 172, went over by 5 points. Let's find some winners today. Absolutely. Good morning, Jalen. What's up, Fredro? Says let's start the day off right. Hit the like button, man. They be out here just watching, Fredro. Don't even be hitting the button, man, but it's all good. Laquan says, morning, Chris. Hope all is well. I was wondering, in the W, is home court advantage just as important as NBA, or more or less important when you're handicapping? So far, Laquan, it's funny you mentioned this because I was looking into this yesterday. So far, home court hasn't meant that much. I think, let me just double check real quick. I feel like, let me just double check because I think I might have looked at favorites. All right, so home teams so far this season are 22-18 straight up. So they're winning 55% of their games, but they're 17-23 against the number, only 42.5%. So no, home court has not meant that much in the W this season. Last season, home teams were 43%. So home court does not mean as much. 43% last year, 42.5% this year. So it's about the same. Nope, not at all. Not at all. Good morning, Lloyd B. Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Busy. NS says finally catching a live. Let's go, Chris. That's the type of energy we need. What's up, Ball? Talk, hope you're doing well, bro. What up, Meech? Good morning to you as always, my brother. JP says Commissioner Cup starts today. Teams are going to run the scores up. I do agree with that. And we'll talk about that in just a second. Ball Talk reminding people hit the like button. What up, Rick? Says did good last night. Indy in the over. Liked it. And Mark says he took the Sky plus 5.5. I didn't even know it went all the way up to 5.5, but I'm glad you made some money. What's up, DJ? Hope all is well. So I was wondering when the Commissioner's Cup was starting, and you just realized this today. Yeah. So Commissioner Cup starts today, and then there's no games tomorrow. So I won't even do a stream tomorrow. And then Wednesday, again, I think it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week. So yeah, it's Commissioner's Cup time in the W. I think it's the 1st through the 17th. So we got all Commissioner's Cup games on the board, man. For people who are new to the WNBA, it's like the in-season tournament for the NBA, except they were doing it before the WNBA. So before the NBA. So read up on it if you guys are interested at all, on the rules and all that good stuff. I probably need to go back and refresh my memory just about the rules and stuff as well. But yeah, man, it's a really, really fun time for the WNBA. You're going to see a lot of energy in these games for sure as well. All right, so let's jump into it for today, man. Let's jump into it. Like I said, I haven't made any plays. What up, Mark? Appreciate you for tapping in. It says AT out for the Merc. Why is the line? Why line move? Why line has moved? Yeah, that's a fact. That's exactly why. Because I thought about that too. All right, so let's jump into it, man. jaXon up first. jaXon did go 2-0 yesterday. Like Angel Reese, over her 11.5 points, she got to 14 yesterday. And like Ariel Atkins, I loved Ariel Atkins yesterday, and I did not make $1 off Ariel Atkins. Her threes, her points, you name it. She finished with 26 points. jaXon took her over over 13.5. She almost doubled that yesterday. So today, same prompt, right? 1 over, 1 under in the WNBA. What are you thinking, jaXon? jaXon likes Natasha Cloud over her rebounds and assists at 9.5. It says that she's been highly consistent in this category, hitting over 80% of her last 5 games, 83% of her games this season. Home advantage, when playing at home, she's hit the over in 100% of her games with the average of 12.65 rebounds and assists. And then the matchup context against the Connecticut Sun this season, she has a 50% hit rate, but her overall form and home performance make this a strong pick. Cloud's ability to contribute across multiple stat categories combined with their stellar home performance make this a solid bet. So take Natasha Cloud over her points and assists. I'm sorry, her rebounds and assists at 12.5. I actually like that number a lot. I may end up on that if I can get some good odds on that in this game. And also jaXon likes, so that's the over. jaXon likes Sammy Whitcomb of the Phoenix Mercury to go under her points prop at 9.5. Says she struggled to hit this line, staying under 80% of her last 5 games, 83.3% of her games this season. Against the Sparks, she's failed to hit the line in her last matchup, scoring just 6 points. Her season average of 6.67 is well below the line, further supporting the under. With her recent struggle and tough matchup against the Sparks, Whitcomb is unlikely to exceed this points total. So jaXon likes Sammy Whitcomb under her 9.5 points and Natasha Cloud over her 9.5. Her 9.5 rebounds plus assists. I just want to see where I can get this Natasha Cloud line there. I do like this Natasha Cloud play a lot. 9.5 minus 135 on BetMGM, on Caesars, and BetMGM and Caesars. I like that a lot. I might end up taking Natasha Cloud today. Her rebounds and assists. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, that's jaXon, man. Check it out. If you guys are interested, link is in the description. Save yourself 50% off when you sign up using ChrisBeCappinn as the code. All right, so let's jump into the games for today. First one up, like I said, it'll be probably a little bit of a shorter stream, just because, like I said, I just kind of feel like about these games. I'll be watching them. Maybe I'll play some live bets. This first one up is the Connecticut Sun and the New York Liberty. This line opened with the New York Liberty laying 18 points. It came down to 17, which is where you see it at now. And now it's back up to 18.5. So we take a quick look at the injury report. The books are pushing this one up. And the total also went up. It opened 162.5, went down to 161.5, now back up to 163.5. I guess I lean over, but I don't know if I'll touch this total. All right, so the Connecticut Sun, Lindsey Allen listed out. Nair Sabally listed as game time decision. She did not play. I don't think she's played in either of those last 2 games. So for the Connecticut Sun, they are coming off their first win of the season. They won as 11-point dogs against the Indiana Fever on Friday night. For the home New York Liberty, this is their 3rd game in 4 nights. They just played back-to-back on Thursday and Friday. Barely beat the Valkyries and then smoked the Washington Mystics. I was on the wrong side of that. And they're still one of the only 2 undefeated teams in the WNBA, them and the Washington Mystics. 6-0 straight up, 4-2 against the spread. 3 straight unders for the New York Liberty as well. So one thing I wanted to look at in this matchup, the part of the research that I did do, is I wanted to see how teams did when they're coming off a double-digit win as a dog, right? So they're coming off a win as a double-digit dog is what I'm trying to say. So using Give Me the Dog, those teams are 38 and 28 to the under in their next game if it was a regular season game. They stayed under their team total in 7 straight instances. But the problem with that is that this Connecticut Sun team, which we know Connecticut Sun are a very inferior team. They're not good. They're not going to be good. A lot of chemistry, new coach, all new starting five, like all that good stuff. They got a team total of 72.5, though. I just feel like that number is a tad bit too low. Like I can't get there on an under 72.5. So the ways I was kind of thinking about playing this, I like the Natasha Cloud look. I think the Liberty can kind of name their number. Their team total is 91.5. If we just go and look at the Liberty, they only got to 85 against the Mystics because they didn't need to score that many. The Valkyries, a slow-paced team, they got to 82. Before that, they beat the Valkyries. They got to 95. They got to 90 against the Fever. They got to 99 against the Sky. This is the best offensive team in the WNBA. It's also the best defensive team in the WNBA. It's also one of the better three-point shooting teams in the WNBA. And if we look at the Connecticut Sun, pretty much the opposite of all of that, right? They are 12th in defensive rating, 12th in pace. So if they, are going to play slow, then that probably leads towards an under as well. The Liberty are actually 3rd in pace. So I'm not kind of feeling different, man. I really want to think about the Liberty first quarter, just thinking that they, throw the first punch and that they'll have like a 7 or 8 point lead at the end of the first quarter. There's a big talent discrepancy in this game. So that was my thought process. Like I said, I didn't play it. I don't really want to play under with it being Commissioner's Cup. Do think the Liberty could potentially try to run it up. I worry about the Suns' pace being 12th. So yeah, it's no play for me in this game. I can't fade the Liberty right now either, though. They could win this game by 30 if they really wanted to. Let's see what you guys are thinking. And then if y'all got any questions, let me know too, because sometimes y'all ask questions and that make me, start to think about things in a different way, and then I end up with a play. So, all right, let's see what y'all think about this one. Let's see. Lord B says Liberty Sun over. Matt says agree, Liberty versus Sun over. So some overs. Fraser says he likes Sabrina Ionescu to go over her 8.5 rebounds and assists at -130. He put that in his pocket. So let's see real quick. Rebounds plus assists. Actually, let's go over to Outlier to look at some of these player props as well. Let's leave Fredro's comment up on the screen. Go over real quick. Minimize myself. Let's see if we can find Sabrina. All right, so Sabrina over 8.5. Let's see. Sabrina over 8.5 rebounds and assists. So she has gone. You can see here, this is the first game of the season against the Aces. So she is 4-2 to the over so far. Missed on the hook against the Washington Mystics. She probably also didn't play that many minutes in this game. She played 31 minutes. And that's the scary part, right? You 18-point favorite. She could play 18. She could play, she might not need to get to her full minutes in this game either. This Connecticut Sun team is not a good defensive team either. I just gave you guys those numbers. They give up the 3rd most rebounds. You can see that here. And assists, they're kind of middle of the pack. So yeah, I couldn't talk you off thinking, it could be a big Sabrina game. 8.5 rebounds and assists. Okay. Fredro got a nice look there. Billy says, good morning. Let's get paid. I need it. Maurice says, needed RES for 12. Who is R? Oh, Angel Reese, I guess. RES. I never heard that abbreviation. To win 550. Let him rise as he's on cloud. Rebounds and assists as well. -130 on Caesars. I like it. Let's see. Storm and Aces. All right, we'll stay away from that. Just trying to see what y'all. Okay, here we go. So Dom's got to play in this game. He's staying on track. Says good morning, Chris and chat. What up, Dom? He says play Liberty first quarter team total over 23.5. They have went over this in 4 of the 6 games, 27-27, 30-28, and I expect the Suns let down from the beginning, which is why I kind of like the spread as well, Dons. I'm gonna write this down. Liberty first quarter team total over. I'm gonna also write down. New York first quarter -4.5. I think 4.5 is the better of the number. So last year, let me get out my rationale real quick, and then we'll get through the rest of the comments, and then we'll move over to the next game. So last year, the Liberty were a team, and their 4.5 is gone now. Dang, it was available before I left this morning. Now it's up to 5.5 everywhere. So Liberty they're supposed to come out and smoke them here, and they probably will, in my opinion. So -5.5, not 4.5 anymore. which makes it even more difficult to bet. All right, so my rationale real quick with this is that the New York Liberty are a team that last year they played around with their food, man. This was not a team that you could trust, especially when they were laying these big numbers. This season, they've been absolutely smoking teams in the first quarter. They're scoring 25.2 points per game to Dom's point in the first quarter. And they're winning the first quarter by an average of 6 points per first quarter, 25.2 to 19.5. Now, if you look at the Liberty last season, especially when they were this big of a favorite, they were a little bit more of a letdown. Last year, they finished the season in 52 games. This is playoffs and regular season. They were just a plus 3.2 in the first quarter, which isn't bad, but they kind of played around with their food at certain times, and they've been a good first quarter team for quite a while. So I like the look by Dom's first quarter team total over. I think that's a solid look for sure, Dom's. Appreciate you for sharing that. Let's see. What else y'all saying? Fading De'Erica Hamby, that's another game. Mark says he likes Libs to get to 90 plus. I can see that. DJ says, yeah, I love Liberty first quarter team total over. Starling says, what about Liberty just over team total? Yeah, they should be able to score. I already talked about it. The thing that concerns me is if they smoke if they come out here and smoke, Connecticut Sun, they absolutely could. They could, this game could be like an 88 to 63 type game if they really wanted to do that as well. And I was looking into the schedule. The Liberty don't play again for a while. Both of these teams got some days off. So, yeah. No, that's a fact, Toby. I couldn't believe that either. We're going to talk about the Storm in just a second. Eddie says, what's good, Chris? First quarter team total over for me as well. So a lot of people liking that first quarter. I like it too. Good morning, Light Barrel. Dougie Bone says point differential does matter, and that's a fact. Lee Anthony says Natasha Cloud under points. She don't look like she came out to score, but to facilitate, she's passed up some open shots last game. And when she did shoot, her shot was short. Yeah, I can see that. You just really don't know, man. The way that Sandy Brondello is running this offense, they just want to play a 5-out system. So everybody can dribble, everybody can shoot, everybody can pass. Jocko Jones can put it on the floor. You got, Maureen Johannes now back coming off the bench. Phoebus, Leonie Phoebus. And I mean, it's just so many parts, bro. They are dangerous. This Liberty team are. Let's see. What else y'all saying? Marina Mabry under her points and assists for Doms, thinking that she struggles. I could definitely see that. Sun team total under. I couldn't get there FY at 72.5. That's a little bit too low, but I understand it though. Liberty defense has been pretty good as well. Real quick, Liberty only allowing 74.5 points per game. They just held the Mystics to 63. They have the Valkyries to 67 and 77. The Fever only scored 88. That game was on the road, of course. They held the Aces to 78. And the Sky to 74. It's all about how locked in they are. Mark says, I'm hoping Commissioner's Cup will keep them rolling. I think so. What up, Can't Stop? It's top of the morning, Chris. He says he likes I like the team total under for the Sun in the first half, thinking that they struggle. So one thing real quick, I'll pull this up so you can see it. When I was looking at, and not that, this is just early season trends, but I was looking into this morning. So funny you mentioned this, Can't Stop. So real quick, if you look at the Sun this season, right, I was thinking, fade them early too. Sun they've actually been like the best version of themselves early in games. So this is the Sun this season. 1-5 straight up. You see that here, 2-4 against the spread. But look at this first quarter, 19.3 to 19.8. So they typically play well early in games, right? You can see the second quarter, they start letting go of the rope a little bit. They lose by average of 3 points, right? Third quarter, average of 3 points. And then the fourth quarter, which this is what you see with most young teams, right? They just can't finish. So they get smoked in the fourth quarter, 21.2 to 14.5. So losing by almost, 6.7 points per fourth quarter. So that's what we typically see them, run out of gas late. But that's my thought process. I think we did a pretty good job here. I don't want to hold up the show for too long, even though I am trying to just talk it out with you guys today. New York first quarter team total over, like Dom says, I like that a lot. Over 23.5 or just late at 5.5. I think they can come out, dominate this game from the beginning. If they don't, and I can get a better number, I will be taking Liberty live in this game, especially with it being a Commissioner's Cup game. All right. So that's my thought process. Let's see what you guys let's go to the next game. So the next game is Aces and Storm, right? Aces will be back in Seattle. They were just there last week. Storm still at the crib, second straight home game. We look at the injury report. It's the same for the Aces. They're going to have everybody they typically do, so not going to read that off. Alicia Clark is also listed. She was ruled out for the game on Friday. I think that was pretty impactful, specifically in the second half. We'll see if she plays today. I don't see anything about her name on the injury report. So we don't know. Like, I don't even know if they submitted an injury report, if Seattle did. But she did miss that game on Friday against the Dream because of an ankle injury. So we'll see how that goes. So first thing we got to point out in this one is this is a rematch, right? This is the rematch from last Sunday. We took Seattle's defense, which was, team total Aces under 82.5, and we barely got there, but we did. The Aces got ran out of the building from the beginning. They end up losing the game 82-102. They were 5-point road favorites. They had actually beat the Seattle Storm. I think it was like 7 or 8 straight games in a row, something crazy like that. And that game total was 158. So now we got a total that's moved north, right? It actually had moved all the way up to 163.5. Now it's coming back down to 159, 160. It looks like it's the consensus. So I don't have this number updated on the screen. So money has come in on the under since this morning. So money's definitely come in. So you look at, so that's the Aces in a nutshell. They also, since that game, they had the game they had the whole week off. They didn't play again until Friday, and they smoked the Sparks in that game. Honestly, one of probably their best performance so far this season, because they had a lackluster performance against the Washington Mystics before losing to Seattle last week as well. I think they lost on last Friday. All right, so we think about Seattle. Seattle has now lost 2 games in a row. They play in Dallas on Wednesday. It's their second straight home game, of course, but they beat the Aces last Sunday, and then they haven't gotten a win since. They lost to the Minnesota Lynx in Minnesota. They did cover that game, though. They were a dog, and then they came back home. They were laying 3.5 against Atlanta. Lost the game outright, even after having a double-digit lead in the first quarter, in the first half. I was on Seattle in that game, and it was like kind of interesting, man, because you expect Seattle to play some defense. The Atlanta Dream almost scored 100 points. I know Atlanta's offense is good, but it's supposed to be running into a buzzsaw, especially second game on the West Coast, blah, 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 blah. So now we get the rematch. What happens in this game? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I honestly don't know. Let's go back and look at what we saw last game, though, because I did put the box score in here. So one thing I am expecting is that the Aces will play a little bit better defense, right? I don't think that Seattle is going to score. I put all the highlighted stuff that are outliers in my opinion. Seattle's not going to shoot 60% from the field. They're not going to shoot 50% from the 3-point line. This is my opinion, right? Are they going to dominate the boards? I could potentially see that happening again. 34-25. They're a much better rebounding team than the Aces. The Aces are not a good rebounding team. Aces are not a team that score a lot of points in the paint. So their points in the paint, I didn't even really highlight too much. 52-38 is a 14-point differential. But to me, I think it could, like, I don't think that the Aces are going to dominate the points in the paint, put it like that, because they typically like shooting a bunch of jump shots. But look at the points conceded off turnovers. This is not an Aces team that turns the ball over a lot. So giving up 21 points off turnovers, I don't think it's going to happen again. I don't think that the assist to turnover, discrepancy is going to be the same. 32-19 is what the Aces were, what the Aces gave up. They were minus 13 in assists. I don't think that's going to happen again. But this line coming back down, there's still a Storm team that I thought I knew what I was getting, but I don't. You can't give up that many points against the Atlanta Dream, in my opinion. Allow Ron Howard and Alicia Gray to go off the way that they did in that game. So could Seattle do it again? Maybe. Do the Aces have revenge on their mind and, gonna have this one circle? Yes. The only way that I would play this game and what I put in my notes was Vegas early, just because they got absolutely destroyed. I wrote it down. They were down by 14 points at the end of the first quarter in this game on last Sunday. I think it was like 26-12 or 14 or something like that. And then at halftime, they were down by 26 points. I don't expect them to get punched in the mouth the way that they did in that last game. Now, Seattle is a really good team. I know Alicia Clark missing that game shouldn't have led to that big of a discrepancy, but I think the Aces early. I don't even know if they can win in Seattle, honestly. I guess they could, but I think Aces still got to show me. Beating up on Kelsey Plum and the Sparks not going to do it for me. So I guess I say all that to say that it's only Aces first quarter or first half for me. Those are the only ways that I would play this game. Asia Wilson talked about post game after beating the Sparks, being under the weather, even though her stat performance didn't show it. She absolutely dominated that game for anybody who had a chance to watch. You can get Aces first quarter though, minus a half a point on a lot of books. You can also get Aces -1 in the first quarter on DraftKings. So that would be the ways that I would look. But again, this is one where I kind of want to see, man. I kind of want to see. Let's see what you guys are thinking, if anything at all. And if y'all got prop looks, let me know. I'll pull them up real quick as well. Let's see. Let them rise says Seattle hasn't lost back-to-back at home since July of 2023. This one is tough. That's a fact because the Aces gonna want that lick back. They're gonna want that lick back for sure. JP says Ezzy over her boys. Ezzy Magmagor over her boys. Let's go look at Ezzy real quick. Ezzy. All right, so Ezzy Magmagor. So Ezzy to get 8 boards. Okay, this looks solid, right? She's played in 6 games so far. She's 4-2 to the over. Aces are not a great rebounding team. You can see that right here. They give up the second most rebounds. Ranked 12th out of 13 teams. Are the Aces rebounder against centers? Also give up the second most rebounds. Excuse me. And against the Aces last week, she had 7 boards, and that was a game she probably didn't play full minutes. If we go in and just look at it real quick. Only 24 minutes in that game because of the 20-point blowout. So Ezzy to go over her boys, I could not talk you off at all. I like this. I think I could get there. We got this Storm coming off back-to-back losses, thinking that they probably will want to turn up defensively. Can't get smoked like you did again. Give up 1,000 points like you did against the Atlanta Dream, man. And I'm done fading the Dream too. Dream then took my money twice, both games on the West Coast road trip. Done fading the Dream too. I'm off of them for a little bit. Toby says Storm on the no bet list. Can't Stop says I'm fading that Asia today. Under 25.5 is in my pocket already. Asia didn't play well in that last game, so I don't know if I can fade her in this one, but I can get it. I can understand it. And if you fade in Asia, you got to want to play on probably Jackie. Jewel Lloyd just don't got it right now, in my opinion, man. I know it's gonna take a while for her to get acclimated to that system, but I am not liking what I'm seeing from Jewel Lloyd so far. She's not cutting it. She's not cutting the cheese, man. Right now, Jewel Lloyd averaging 10 points. Like, this is one of the most prolific scorers in the WNBA. 10 points ain't gonna get the job done. She also, what is she shooting from the field? Real quick, let me just look at Jewel Lloyd. She's shooting 28.6% from the field. Her lowest field goal percentage of her career. I know it's only 5 games so far, but 28.6% from the field. Of course, she's back at her crib. She been there since 2015. So 11 years spent with Seattle. That's just that's gross though. 28.6%, man. She got to go up against a team that let her go. So we'll see, man. We shall see. I love it. Says he says let's go Aces. Jamel, what up, bro? He says, what do you think about Asia under 40.5 points, rebounds, and assists? Let's go look at it real quick. So I know Dimes was on this last week. I remember him saying that in the chat, and it was a winner. I ain't never really trying to fade Asia though. I know they got the bigs there. I just kind of feel like she gonna give everything she got, even if the rest of the team don't show up. Like, I don't know if she's trying to get blown out back-to-back games in Seattle. So that's the only scary part. Coming off a big 54-point rebounds assist game, you can see here. So she's under in let's see. She's under in 3 of her 5 games. She had 50 in game 1 against the Liberty, 54 in this last game, and they've only played 5 games so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So she is under in these 3 games here. The Connecticut game was a blowout. She only played 29 minutes. The Seattle game was also a blowout. She only played 28 minutes. And then the Washington game, I don't know what was going on in that game. 15, 12, and 5 assists. I think shout out to Kiki. Maybe Kiki was locking her up. I can't remember. But Yeah, I don't really like fading Asia Wilson. And I get it. I know they got some really good defenders. I don't really like fading Asia Wilson in this type of game, though. But don't let me talk you off. I know that that's a really high number, Jamel. So do your thing, my brother. He says she typically struggles to hit that line against them. So if we look at head-to-head matchup, she is under in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of her last 7. So yeah, maybe it's a Jackie Young type game. Let's go see how Jackie plays real quick against this team. Jackie specifically, because it's only one of those two. I feel like these are the only two players I trust. Jackie points 26 against the Sparks, only 14 here against the Seattle Storm last week. She did have 25 against the Washington Mystics. Against the Seattle Storm in general, oh, she struggled as well. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 straight unders for Jackie Young. Shooting 47%, 23% from the 3-point line in her matchups against them. Her 3-point prop at 1.5. I could never play Jackie Young under 1.5 threes. I feel like she'd shoot too many for me. She's only shooting 23% though in her last 5 matchups. Her last 6 matchups. If it ain't gonna be Asia, it's gonna have to be Jackie. That's how I think about it. Doggy Bone says, give me the under. Familiar matchup. Aces want revenge equals more defense, in my opinion. Yeah, it sounds really good until you go look at the Aces defense, and it's not been that great. So real quick, Money Baller. Shout out to Money Baller. We go in and look at the Aces game. So they got double-digit in-season revenge. Fade teams off 2-game losing streak when previous game was at home. System active on the over. On the Storm side, coming off a loss is a favorite bounce back. Fade a small fave off a win. So maybe a little bit of an overreaction for the Aces because they played so well against the Storm, against the Sparks. But yeah, look at the defense for the Aces. It ain't been there so far, Doggy Ball. Maybe it does today, but look at this. 102.9 defensive rating. 9th in the WNBA. Aces defense has not been that good, man. And we got to think the Sparks didn't even have Rakia Jackson in the last game either. She was out for personal reasons. She out there again today, right? But not playing with pace, right? Storm also not playing with pace. So maybe, man. I just can't believe. It's so hard for me to believe that the Storm gave up 94 points at the crib. 94 to the Atlanta Dream in that last game. That game went over by 24.5 points. That's what keeps me off the under. I kind of need to see a bigger sample size, man. Let's see. What else y'all saying? Aces money line for Matt. Marie says under. Dropping down says Asia under her 40.5 points for assists. Played it at 39.5 last week. She ended up with 24. I think she plays better, but still doesn't get there. Okay. DJ says I'd be on the Storm again until Jewel Lloyd starts to contribute to the Aces. I kind of agree with that, DJ. I kind of agree with that, man. Different game, Bissy. FY says I got Liberty minus 1.5. May tell that first quarter. I think the first quarter got to be the first punch thrown, man. What's up, 3-time Can't Stop says, based on what you just said about Jewel Lloyd, this could be a breakout game for her. Can't keep a good score down. Yeah, so against the Aces, when she in that game on Sunday, she actually started the game off. Well, I'm watching it like she was scoring. In that game on Sunday, she ended up with 14 points against Seattle. I think the problem was she had like 12 at halftime or 12 in the first quarter. She was cooking on her first game back in Seattle. She finished the game with 14 points on 4 for 15 shooting though. Like that's the part that's not going to get the job done. You look at her field goal percentages against the Sparks, she shot 1 for 8 against the Sparks. Who on the Sparks is locking you up that you shooting 1 for? You know what? I digress. I'm starting to get frustrated at Jewel Lloyd. But 1 for 8 against the Sparks the other day. She finished with 3 points. Against Seattle, 4 for 15, 26%. Against the Washington Mystics, she hit the game winner, but 2 for 9, 22% from the field. Against the New York Liberty, 2 for 10 to open the season, 20%. The only good game she had was against Connecticut. That's one of the worst defenses in the WNBA. She shot 7 for 14. So I don't know, man. Jewel gonna have to show up, and it could be a breakout game for sure. But I don't want to put my money on the breakout. Vegas relies too heavily on Asia to feel comfy with all of her unders, in my opinion, and I agree with that. Let them ride. Bro. Asia, it's Asia, Jackie, or nobody. I do think that what's her name? Becky Hammond is eventually gonna start using some of her bench plays a little bit more, because if Jewel Lloyd keep playing this bad, man, they're not gonna be able to keep her in the rotation. They got some players that came in there and can score the basketball and make some plays, and it don't got to run through Asia Wilson all the time. Zaire says she likes Gabby over her 12.5 points. Shout out to Gabby, my girl. He says too passive. Yeah. Big Mars says, my God, what up, big man? Toby says, all said and done. Seems like a pass on this game. Yeah, pass for me, or Ace's first quarter would be the way that I would play this. Those are the only two things that I'd be looking at. And don't really like any of the player props. Don't really like any of the player props, in my opinion. Maybe Jackie. I don't know. All right, let's go to the next one. Like I said, these games were difficult for me. Mercury and the Sparks. So this line actually opened. I think the Sparks were laying 1.5 initially. I'm sorry, 2.5 is what the Sparks were laying. It went from 2.5 down to 1.5, then down to 1, and then the news came out that Alyssa Thomas is not going to be playing. She missed the game on Friday against the Minnesota Lynx, and they lost that game by 3, but they did fight tooth and nail in that game. And now you got an injury report that has no Alyssa Thomas, no Natasha Mag, no Kalia Copper. Alexa Held is out as well. In the Mercury, I want to say we'll use Moneyball in this game after I share my notes. And then on the Spark side of things, like I said, Rakia Jackson still out. No Ray Burrell, no Cameron Brink, even though she should be close to returning. So what I wrote in my notes for this game was that it's the first game after a 3-game homestand for the Phoenix Mercury. They have not played on the road in a while. They are 4-2 to the under this season. Offensively, they can struggle. Defensively, they've been pretty strong. We'll talk about that, show you guys those numbers on Moneyball in just a second. And then for the Sparks, back-to-back losses. They lost against the Aces, didn't cover that spread. They lost against Atlanta, didn't cover that spread as a favorite in that game. 3 straight overs, though, because you know why? Their defense is trash. And I said this the other day against Chicago, right? Defensively, we bet the over in that last game against the Sparks as well, and that was actually my only winner on Friday night. Defensively, they can't stop anyone. Vegas just shot 46% from the 3-point line in Vegas on Friday, and a nice little bounce back spot. So if we go over to the Money Baller real quick, right? We just looking at the this is actually still Aces and Storm, my fault. So let's bring up Mercury and Sparks. So I think the Mercury are better than the Sparks. Do the Mercury have enough to keep this game close, though, without Alyssa Thomas is the question. Alyssa Thomas means a lot, right? I mean, for people who've been watching the game for a while, I mean, Alyssa Thomas always in the MVP running. She's like, I always compare her to Draymond Green because her ability to be able to facilitate. Not Draymond now, though. Draymond can't even make layups, but like a younger Draymond when he used to, facilitate and score. Now he don't really do too much at all. Even with 2 good labrums, he don't do much. But I just want to bring up Alyssa Thomas numbers real quick so I can put some a little bit more understanding to how much she means to this team. So looking at her numbers this season, Alyssa Thomas is averaging, she's averaging almost 15.5 points, 7.5 boards, and 8 assists. That's a lot of offense that you're gonna be missing for the Mercury. The Mercury, we should start looking at Moneyballer, right? There's a couple of systems here on the Mercury, right? Fade teams off a 2-game losing streak when their previous game was at home. So fade the Sparks in this spot. Back row dogs versus opponents who won as a previous dog. Back row dogs who versus opponents who was a dog in their previous game. I'm like, hold on, they didn't win. Okay, all right. So fade them there. Away plus won the previous matchup at home. So take the Mercury in that spot, and then back teams with more rest and less rest in their previous 5 games. This just means that the Sparks have been playing a lot more games than the Mercury has of late. So I'm gonna be honest. If you want the Sparks, I think you should have got in on the number. I don't want anything to do with the Sparks laying points though. So if we come down, we look at this, right? You can see that the Mercury actually play again on the 3rd, which is Wednesday. They play the Phoenix Mercury. I'm sorry, they play in Phoenix. They play against the Minnesota Lynx again. And then the Sparks don't play again until Friday. I think the 6 is on Friday, right? Yeah, Friday. They play against the Dallas Wings, and they don't have to travel at all. So it'll be their 3rd straight home game. So we come down here, we start looking at some of the numbers, right? And this is what I was talking about with the Sparks. Look at their defense. It's terrible, man. 106.08. And they playing super slow as well. Sparks actually 3rd slowest paced team in the WNBA. If you like the Mercury, you like that they do play defense. They've only played 1 road game. That game came against the Seattle Storm. It was right here, right? So you can see that they did lose this game. They didn't cover the spread, but they were actually winning at halftime. I remember they were winning at the end of the 1st quarter and halftime. They covered both of those numbers, and they failed to cover by just a point. That game did stay under the total as well. So I don't know. It makes it kind of difficult because I don't want to play. I'm not laying points with the Sparks. Like that. That's the thing that I know I won't be doing. But I always talk about the X factor for the Mercury. You know, their home crowd. Like, do they, let up a little bit defensively? They've just been really good, solid defensively. Look at that, 91.6 defensive rating. And I was looking into this morning with Alyssa Thomas on the floor and her off the floor. Real quick, let me see if I can pull that back up. Let's see. No. Phoenix. I want to say their defense stays about the same, but it's just their offense that struggles. So let's look at this real quick. All right, so with Alyssa Thomas on the floor, 166 minutes so far, they have an offensive rating of a 103.28 and a defensive rating of 93, right? So they're plus 9.5 with Alyssa Thomas on the floor. Without Alyssa Thomas, they're only a minus 3.5. Offensive rating is 90. So of course their offense struggles to score. And granted, they're playing against a terrible defense. And defensively, their defensive rating still stays at 93. So I guess I lean towards the under. The only game that they played on the road so far was against Seattle. They only got the 70 points in that game. Now, granted, the Sparks team is like, again, I keep beating a dead horse, but they're not good defensively. So this kind of makes me want to play on the Sparks to be able, the Mercury to be able to keep this game close. I just can't lay points like my guy Ski always said. I can't lay points with a team that don't get stops, and the Sparks don't get a lot of stops. We go in here, we look at the games that they covered. Look at this Sparks covered. They covered against the Chicago Sky. Where the Chicago game at? Right here, right? They covered this game, right? They failed to cover back-to-back games. They didn't cover either one of these. They covered against the Sparks. The Sparks are still trying to figure it out, man. Sparks actually putting it together. The Sky was still trying to put it together. They actually scored a lot more points in their last 3 games. But if you keep playing against Dallas, you're gonna keep scoring a lot of points anyway. But neither here nor there, right? They covered against the Chicago Sky. And they covered against the Valkyries in that first game, right? These are the only 2 games that they've covered so far. Am I correct? Let me just double check. ATS Sparks 3-3-1. So they covered another game. Oh, they covered in Phoenix. That's what it was. In Phoenix, they did cover as well. This game, right? Where's the Phoenix game at? Right here. I'm sorry. It took me a while to find that. They covered this game right here against Phoenix, where they were getting 5.5 and lost the game by 3 because of that 4th quarter that they had. So, man, I can't get there with the Sparks, though. I can't lay points with the Sparks. That's just how I see the game, man. No laying points with the Sparks for me. I considered Satu over her points. It was listed at 22.5. She has gone over that number, I think, 2 of the 5 games that they've played. I don't trust the Sparks defense, so it could be, a nice game to bet on. Satu, to go out there and get her numbers. I think I'd be taking the points with the Mercury, though. I think 5. This number is now up to 5. I think that's a little too rich for my blood to be laying with the Sparks, in my opinion. So I'd be taking the points here. 5. You can get a 5.5 right now on ESPN Bet and BetMGM. That would be the ways that I'd be looking. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Sparks money line. Dom says tell GLB system and grab the over at 161.5. It is going up now. I don't trust the Mercury offense on the road either, though. I don't trust the Sparks defense. Don't get it twisted. I do kind of trust the Mercury defense, though. Mercury defense has been solid, even on the road. Sparks money line, Phoenix money line. Let them ride says money keeps coming in on Phoenix, yet the line stays moving in favor of LA. This one feeling trappy. And I feel like the whole slate is trappy, man. Sox Nation, appreciate you for joining as a member. Always appreciate it. Dom says the total has moved 2. Yeah, moved up 2 points for sure. Paul Talk says Draymond catching strays. Let him ride says I want the Mercury at plus money so bad, but struggling to get there after their collapse last game. I agree with that. What's up, Jose? Ball Talk says WNBA got to do something about this injury news. Took Mercury money line, not realizing Thomas wasn't playing. It's tough. JP says, what do you think about Dearica Hamby under her 17.5 points? She is nice. Monique, I don't even know how you pronounce her last name. She is definitely nice. And I think she's been on the injury report a little bit, but I think she's probable for today's game. She might not even be on it at all, but she's been probable for the last couple games. Dearica Hamby under 17.5 points, JP. I would need to look a little bit deeper. Like I need to see how well the Mercury do against forwards and where they give up their points from. Like, are they a good 3-point defensive team? Let's go look at it real quick. We got some time. We only got one more game left too, so let's go look at it real quick. Let's go back to Moneyballer. And that's the thing I like about Moneyballer is that you pretty much can look at everything. You can even cap player props because you just look at this. You look at the stuff, right? All right, so look at this. Dearica Hamby, 17.5. I think you said was the number. So if we look at the Mercury's defense, right? We talked about them being a good defense, right? Second in defensive rating so far. Let's see. They are second in opponent effective field goal percentage. They do give up about middle of the pack in free throws allowed. They don't force a lot of turnover. Well, they do. They force the most turnovers in the NBA, in the WNBA. But they also struggle to turn the ball over at times as well, which could be impacted, especially without AT today. Like that could be. Lisa Thomas is somebody that protects the ball really well. All right, so look at the scoring defense for the Mercury. So points allowed per game, they're only giving up 74.5. Points allowed off turnovers. They don't give up a lot of points off turnovers. They don't give up a lot of points off second chance. Shout out to Nate Tibbins, man. He got this team really playing some defense. They don't give up points in the fast break, 9.67. Inside the arc defense, paint, field goals allowed. Look at the Mercury defense. They don't give it up inside the paint at all. Third in opponent paint field goal percentage. Mid-range field goal percentage allowed. They do give up some mid-range shots. Teams are shooting about 37%. Then we look at corner three. Really good job in the corner three as well. Third best in the WNBA. I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, third best at holding teams to 28.13%. This actually correlates with what jaXon said about taking Sammy Wickham over under. No, it doesn't. Never mind. It does not. Never mind. Scratch that. And then above the break threes allowed. They don't give up a ton. And they are fourth best guarding the 3-point line as well. What's the Sparks team total? Maybe the Sparks struggle to score. Maybe I'll look at the Sparks team total. 84.5 for the Sparks. I'm gonna write that down. Sparks team total under. I know people, a couple of guys that I respect are like the over, but let's come down here. Opponent team totals. Sparks opponents are 4-2 to the under. The Sparks are 3-4 to their own team total over, so they have stayed under a little bit more. We go back up and look at the pace one more time. Mercury been playing faster. Maybe play a little bit slower today without Alyssa Thomas. And the Sparks play slow too. 11th in pace. So maybe a Sparks team total under. I haven't bet anything in this game though. But I hope that helps with your De'Erica Hamby look, JP. De'Erica can mix it up though. She can score in all the different areas. So I would still probably go in and cross-reference that with where she takes a lot of her shots from, which you can find that information if you look around. Let's see. Brendan says, I like the under here. There's a lot of battle. Commissioner's Cup game 2. Phoenix money line for Chris, even without AT. Okay. Jay says, man, I watched your video after I made my bets. Lost Wings -2. Didn't know Paige wasn't playing when I put the bet in. Yeah, she was ruled out on Friday. And I put that, I was like, bro, I understand that the Chicago Sky suck, but who laying points? I could not lay points with the Wings ever. And that in those type of instances, you got to just grab the points with the team that could potentially win, right? Like this is the law averages say, you don't trust Enrique Grimoire. I know that. Mark says, I see aces moving to 3. Sox says, Chris been following you for the past 4 years. Watch you every day with the sauce. Shout out to my guy Cal and everybody at the Sauce Network. All right, let's go over to the last game on the board, which is this Lynx and Valkyries game. Real quick, we start with the injury report. Nafisha Collier is enough to make me stay on the sidelines until I find out if she's going to play. She's still listed as game time decision. This is an 8:30 game, so we may not get that information until close to the game time. Shout out to the W for putting, not all the games on at the same time today. We got 1 game at 3, 2 games at 6, and 1 game at 8:30. This is the other 8:30 game, right? So this line opened with the Minnesota Lynx laying, I want to say it was, I don't know. I think they were laying like 9.5, and now it moved up to 10.5, and now it's up to 11.5. So I don't have the most updated number here either. Just talked about the injury report for Minnesota. Nafisha Collier did miss that last game against the Phoenix Mercury on Friday. They ended up winning the game off of the Tisha Heidemann 3-pointer in the right corner. Splash. They ended up winning the game by 3 points. And the Valkyries, also Minnesota, they just keep on winning, but they're not covering. 6-0 straight up, just like the New York Liberty. But they've actually failed to cover 4 straight games. They're actually on an 0-4 ATS streak right now. They've been winning, but they haven't been covering. Remember, they just beat the Phoenix Mercury, didn't cover, only beat them by 3. They beat the Seattle Storm, didn't cover, won that game by 4. I think they were laying 7.5 in that game, won by 3 or 4. So a couple games, 4 in a row they've actually won, but haven't covered. The Connecticut Sun, they lost that game. I was on them in that one, so they haven't really been covering at home specifically. And for the Valkyries, this is a team that is playing their first game back on the West Coast, right? They went east for 2 games, back-to-back losses against the Liberty. They did cover the second game after getting absolutely ran off the floor, losing by, I think it was 28 in game 1 against the Liberty, but then they lost by just 5. We did get that right on Thursday night. The thing about the Valkyries is the offense hasn't been good, right? We know that the offense has really, really struggled. So we'll go back to Moneyballer real quick, just so you guys can see some numbers to go with this as well. This is the worst offensive team. Of course, it's an expansion team, of course, in the WNBA as well. So you're not expecting too much from them. But what you can expect is they're going to try to play some defense, man. So we look at some systems here. Lynx, well-rested, 2 days or more rest. They are at the rest disadvantage, though. Valkyries have the rest advantage, well rested, 2 more days rest. First game back home off a little road trip of at least 3 games. So the Valkyries played the Liberty, and then they played the Aces. So 3 straight road games for the Valkyries. I'm sorry, not the Aces, the Sparks, and they end up winning that game. I remember that. Here's the common theme with the Valkyries, though. Because their offense stinks, right? And we can see that right here. Offensive rating, 92.2. Worst offensive rated team in the WNBA. Because they play at one of the, a bottom half of the league in pace. Because they have a terrible assist-to-turnover ratio. That's contributed to all of the Valkyries games going under. See that right there? That's 0-5 to the under. That's the only way I'll be able to look, man. I think even looking at the Aces games, they're 4-2 to the under in their last 6 games as well. I don't know if Nafisha Collier is going to play. This line, of course, has gotten way too low for me to take it now. I didn't feel comfortable taking it at 162 when I saw it open. Now it's down to 157.5 on most books. So I don't know. If he plays, this line will go up. Maybe then I'll take the under. But yeah, the Valkyries are going to fight tooth and nail. They do not have a problem fighting hard. Look at this defensive rating. Third best defense. No, this is the Lynx. I'm sorry. Eighth in defensive rating, and this is really just because they played against the Liberty back-to-back games. But it's still a team that's going to fight tooth and nail to the end, in my opinion. I just need to see what's going to happen with the injury report, man. I can't lay 10.5 with the Minnesota Lynx, even though they do typically cover on the road. I don't like the spot for the Valkyries with it being their first game back home off the road trip. But I don't know, man. Let's see. Lynx on the road this season, 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the number. They started the season off with that win against the Dallas Wings. Then they beat the Sparks, smoked them as well. And then they beat the Mercury without fee, but they did not cover that one. So 2 of these 3 have gone under. They've held their opponent under their team total in back-to-back games as well, only giving up 76 points across the 3 games that they played so far on the road. So, like I said, another really tough game, man. Very, very tough game. We look at the pace. Lynx also playing super slow. I didn't even realize that. I knew they were playing slow. I didn't know they were playing that slow. 13th in pace for the Minnesota Lynx. And you can see the Valkyries also, playing pretty slow. So I agree with the total coming down. I wrote in my notes yesterday, Golden State team total under 76.5. They haven't gotten to 77, but twice in their 5-game existence, or under 163.5 is what I had. Then I wrote maybe Golden State first half team total under, would it be in their first game back after a 3-game road trip. So all those numbers are going down. The Valkyries team total is 74.5, 73.5, 72.5 is consensus. So that's been pushed down 3 points. And like I said, I have no idea what Minnesota is going to, do as far as what if they rest Nafisha Collier or not in this game. We got to remember the Minnesota Lynx did win the Commissioner's Cup last season, right? So, do they want to win it again? Probably so. But do they care as much? Who knows? I think one thing about the W is they always play hard. So I would go out and venture and say that they, probably do want to play hard and win this game as well. And that's my thought process on this game. I didn't really look into player props because I would need to see who, if Nafisha Collier is going to play or not. And we have no idea if she's going to play in this game. So that's my thought process there. What y'all saying here? Dom says Timmy Bagley under her 15.5 points and rebounds here. Valkyrie's team total under 74.5 is what he got. I could definitely see that. Do we think that the Mystics even need to get to 85 though? Like I feel like 85 points is a lot for not the Mystics, the Lynx. I feel like the 85 is a lot for the Lynx. You can get a Lynx team total under 85.5. I think both teams could struggle to score the basketball here, especially if Nafisha Collier doesn't play. FY says, yep, Golden State team total under. Salem is a pretty damn good. Can't find her points prop though. Yeah, you're not gonna find her. She comes off the bench for this Valkyrie team. She's probably their best scorer. Her, Julie Van Loo. But they also streaky. Like they can have good quarters and still not have good games. Jamel says, yeah, Bagley under points rebounds for him as well. Dom says, feel like the Lynx are playing the long game with Fee. They can beat Valkyries without her. And I agree with that as well. What's up, Nayeli? Shout out to Northern Virginia. What up, Nayeli? Hope all is well with you. Let them rise says Valkyries team first quarter team total under 18.5 at plus money on DraftKings. You know what? Let them ride. I gotta go look at that. I like that. I actually like that a lot. Let's go back to Give Me the Dog real quick and see how many points they're averaging in the first quarter. All right, so let's zoom in, zoom me out. All right, so Valkyries first quarter. I feel like they never score a lot in the first quarter. All right, so 5-0 to the under, like we talked about, right? First quarter, they're averaging 16.6 points. They're losing by an average of, what is this? 4.6? Yeah, 4.6 in the first quarter is where they're getting outscored. Only averaging 73.8. I talked about that already. Yeah, I think the 18.5 number might be good money. That may be good money. Let them ride. 18.5. I don't think they get into 19. That's a lot of points in the W, especially with the Lynx playing slow too. Like, I think I'm gonna write that down too. And it's their first game back home off the road trip. You just worry about, Lynx potentially not playing as hard, but the Lynx actually play well. They play better on the road than they played at home so far this season. Golden State first quarter team total under 18.5. I do not think that that's a bad look at all. You can see that their offense picks up in the second quarter, averaging 20. Third quarter, they get into 19.5. Fourth quarter, just 17 as well. So this first quarter number could be a good number for sure. Real quick, if we cross-reference this with Lynx, see what they're giving up. They're giving up right at 18.5 in the first quarter. If we look at the Lynx specifically on the road, they're giving up 21 in the first quarter, but these were against some better offenses, right? The Wings in the first game, Sparks, Mercury. These offenses I feel like are a little bit better. Yeah, I kind of like that. Let's look at the Valkyries at home. 15.5 in the first quarter. Giving up 16.5 in the first quarter. What's the first quarter team? What's the first quarter total in general? Maybe it's the first quarter just under. First quarter total points, man. It might not even have to be like that. Under 41. Golden State and Minnesota first quarter under 41. And this is available on DraftKings at -105 on DK for people that are interested in just grouping both of them together, thinking that, Valkyries potentially, slow down this team as well. I mean, you got to reference the opponents, right? They played against the Sparks. The Sparks offense is pretty good, but their defense sucks. The Mystics offense is pretty good. This was their first game on the West Coast, though. We talked about not laying points with the Mystics on the road. They end up losing that game outright. Valkyries got their first and only win of the season. I kind of like first quarter under 41. I kind of do, man. Shout out to Let 'Em Ride for sharing that look. Getting me, I'm putting my investigator hat on. All right, that's all the games we got. I don't think y'all got any more comments or questions. So we've been on this stream for a really long time anyway. Elena Smith points, Bissy says. All right, last thing we'll do. Let's go look at Elena Smith real quick. All right, so Elena Smith. So first, I want to say this, Bissy. Like, I think Elena Smith number is probably going to move a little bit if he plays, right? So it's highly contingent upon if he going to play or not. So we got some insight. Says she's failed to exceed 12.5 points in 15 of the 19 games on the road, only averaging 8.6. She has been playing better at home than she has on the road. So we go in and look at her points prop. These are the 5 games so far this season. She has gone over. Hold on. They started the season off. Oh, she didn't play in that first game, right? Yeah, she didn't play in the first game against Dallas. She didn't play. No, yes, she did. She played. Nah, this was the second game. Yeah, she didn't. She missed that first game. Okay, so she played in the Sparks game, which was the second game, and she cooked them. We were on this. This was 2 Sundays ago. We bet the Minnesota Lynx minus the 5.5 or -5, and they won the game by 14. So in the games that she's played so far, she's missed 1. She is over in 4 for 5 games. Only had 2 against Connecticut. Not sure what that was about, but yeah, she's been hooping. We cross-referenced this real quick with man, y'all got me working hard on this Sunday, man. Hit the like button. Hit the like button, man. All right, so we cross-referenced this with the defense for the Valkyries, right? So we're looking at the Valkyries defense. So scoring, the Valkyries are 8th in points allowed. They do give up points off turnovers. That's not good because the Lynx can run them out of the building if they turn the ball over. So they do give up a lot of points off turnovers. They give up a lot of fast break points allowed as well. And the Lynx are 4th in fast break points. All right, so now we start to look at the Valkyries defense. They are allowing teams to score in the paint. Well, they're doing a pretty good job of holding teams down. So they're 5th there. Mid-range, they don't give up a lot of attempts. We know that the Lynx they live in the mid-range. Courtney Williams, Nafisha Collier, they love the mid-range shots. Bridget Carlton. All right, so we look at mid-range allowed. They do a really good job of limiting. I like this first quarter the more and more I look at it. Shout out to Let Them Ride. All right, so then we come over here, 3-point shooting. Valkyries actually the worst. Oh, this is them shooting. I knew that they were the worst 3-point shooting team. But look at this, corner 3 field goals allowed. They don't give up that many, the 4th fewest. Corner 3 field goal percentage allowed. So they actually the 4th best 3-point shooting team. And the Lynx are the 1st in corner 3 field goal percentage. So something's going to have to give here today. They also don't allow teams to shoot a lot of above the break threes. Oh, no, this is their above the break threes. So above the break 3 field goal percentage allowed, this is where they start to get cooked, right? So this is the thing that they struggle with. And this is probably why the New York Liberty smoked them in their last game, allowing teams to shoot almost 40%, which is 3rd worst in the WNBA. And we know that the Lynx, they can get hot from the 3-point line as well. So when I think about Elena Smith, I would probably go over, just ride the trend and play her over. Busy, definitely probably just play her over, especially if Fee doesn't play. I think she could get to that number for sure. I think that she can. Niley says Valkyries may cover the first quarter. I think I like it under either way, even if they cover, if they don't. Let Them Ride says look like they only going over that mark twice against the Sparks too. Yeah, it's a fact. Sparks, not a Sparks guy, man. Not a Sparks guy because I don't like them defensively. But yeah, we did a pretty good job. Went over player prop, sides, totals, all the good stuff, man. If we get into a quick recap, because like I said, I didn't bet anything. I'll be looking to play live in some of these games today. But if I was betting anything, get these off of here. These did go 4-0 yesterday. Didn't play any of them. If we were betting something today, I think I'd be looking at I like the Natasha Cloud look over her 8.5 rebounds and assists. I like the Liberty first quarter team total over that Dom's talked about, over 23.5, or the -5.5. I think that they smoked Connecticut early in that game. Connecticut getting their first win of the season, probably. Yeah, I think they get steamrolled. And then Sparks, I think I'd be betting the team total under, man. I don't know if I'm gonna actually place this or not, but under 84.5. Trusting Phoenix defense away from the crib. I love that Golden State in Minnesota. So Minnesota, Golden State, first quarter under 41. I'm actually probably gonna play that one. I think that's what I like the most out of everything. The Ezzy over her 7.5 rebounds, I think, is also a really good look. I forgot who mentioned that in the comment section. Like I said, I don't know, man. I really don't know. Oh, and I forgot to add Aces, right? So Aces first quarter, Las Vegas first quarter -1. I think you can still get a 1. And this is just really, predicated off the way that they got smoked. Like I said, they was down 14 at the end of the first quarter last Sunday, down 26 at the halftime last Sunday. You can still get the Aces. You actually get a -0.5 point at -115 on BetMGM. And that's probably would be the line that I would take, especially after getting, a push last night on the Pacers -1 in the first quarter. But yeah, haven't placed the bet, man. If I place any, I'll let you guys know. There will be no show tomorrow. We don't have WNBA. We have no NBA as well. So enjoy your Sunday, man. Use the link in the sign up to get all the official plays that I make. Also use that link to get all the resources or check out the resources to make yourself a more profitable, better handicapper. Check out jaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, all those good things in the comment section. Enjoy your Sunday, man. Hit the like button for me. Share the show if you guys can on the way out. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday for Commissioner Cup round number 2. Catch you guys then, man. Enjoy your